Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Karen Marie and this is my channel Made by Karen Marie. So it's Friday today and I'm working from home, so I thought I would take the opportunity to use my lunch break to film a little Friday sews for you. I say little, but I actually have quite a few things to talk to you about, so I'll try to keep it as short as I can. I will also be putting in some timestamps this time so that you can use that to jump back and forth to the things that you're most interested in, and I hope that helps. Last weekend I went to a kind of neighboring town where I tested some sewing machines and I bought some things. So I'm going to show you what I bought. I will not be talking about a new sewing machine right now, but I do want to say a heartfelt thank you to all of you who have weighed in and continue to weigh in on your experience with various machines and everything. I mean, that has been so very helpful to me, and even though some of the advice and some of the experience don't exactly always say the same things, obviously, I still have found that extremely helpful, and I have learned a lot about different not only brands but various kind of models and all of that, and it's been super helpful, so thank you so much. I won't be talking more about the process of finding a new sewing machine in this video, but I will keep you posted on what I end up with. So that's more on that later, but I just wanted to thank you. But I thought I would kick off this Friday sews with sort of the big thing this Friday, and that is the reveal of my Liberated Ember dress. For those of you who follow my channel, you will know that I have had a little collaboration or dress project going with the lovely Katrina from Create Something Pretty over in Australia. And we had planned to do the reveal on this day together. However, Katrina has sadly had a little hiccup with her editing software and things like that. So she's been kind of prevented from finishing on time. But since I am going to a sewing festival next weekend, and thought I would take you with me on that, I am still going ahead with my reveal video today. But I thought I would tell you a little bit about the dress, how I found it, am I happy with the results, etc. So please do excuse me while I keep looking at my notes. So the Liberated Ember dress is a loose fitting dress that you just pop over your head. So there are no fastenings, no zips, no buttons, no nothing of that. You just pop it over your head. And then the main kind of feature to this dress is that it has side ties. So there's a channel on the front bodice and the channel on the back, and you use it to tie up the sides, and that's what gives the shaping to the dress. The Ember dress is a PDF pattern and it's currently on sale. I didn't know that now. I bought it earlier this summer, so it wasn't on sale when I bought it, but it is actually on sale at the moment. So it is now $14.41 US. So if you want it, now's the time, It comes in a size 0 to 34 American sizes. So that means a bust of 31 inches, that's 79 centimeters for those of us in Europe, up to a 58.5 inches, which is 149 centimeters of a bust. I really only included the bust measurements here because, first of all, you can hop over to the pattern that I will link in the description and check it out for yourself, but also because this is such a like loose fitting garment, and it really sort of hangs from the chest anyway. So I think the bust measurement is really kind of the thing. Yeah, so it is a loose fitting dress. There's a lot of fabric in it, I have to say. For my size and the version that I made, it does call for 4.2 meters of fabric, which is, you know, quite a lot because it's not even like a full length dress. So it does take quite a bit of fabric. I had 4 meters of viscose fabric. I thought, you know, I can always cheat a little bit here and there to make it fit, because I didn't want to buy like a lot more than I needed. I bought my fabric from Selfmade. It is a navy blue viscose, but Selfmade only sells in 1/2 meter increments. And I didn't want to go for 4.5 meters because then I end up with like this weird little cutoff that I can't really use for anything. I have like this much like full width left and then some like odd little things. So the Ember dress comes in 2 views. View A has a bishop sleeve with a gathered cap. Both versions come with a princess seamed bodice and back, you know, front and back, and that's a good thing because it makes fitting so much easier. Yeah, view B has a like lace insert in the princess seam, and the sleeves for that is it has like elasticated sleeves on 2 points on the sleeve, and you can either like have one part that's elasticated and cut it off so it's like 3/4 length, or you can make it full length with the ruffle like on the bottom. So what I did was I did view A in the dress, no lace inserts or any of that for me, but then I used view B sleeves. And the reason for that is that I have nothing in my wardrobe that resembles that. I have nothing with that kind of sleeve, and I was really interested to see how they sort of did it and how it would look on me. Since I made my dress in a solid color, I thought that making the kind of view B very special sort of sleeves would kind of elevate the dress, which I think it did. Size-wise, I should have made a size 18 that fit my measurements like quite spot on. But I had a look at the finished garment measurements and realized that that would be too oversized for me. So I sized down 1 whole size. So I made the size 16, which is plenty big enough. So I think I could even have gotten away with a size 14 to be fair. But yeah, I made a 16 and I'm quite happy with that. So yeah, the fabric that I used was from Selfmade. As I said, it's 100% viscose, and it is one of the sort of inexpensive viscoses from Selfmade. That shows I made the wrong decision there. It is very thin, very flimsy. It wrinkles like mad, and yes, we know viscose wrinkles, but this is just a whole other deal. It is also very, very slippery, so it took me ages, and I'm not kidding, cutting this out because it kept shifting and it kept needing another iron. In retrospect, I wish that I have used some, you know, that fabric stiffener that you spray on. To make it a little bit more sturdy while I was cutting out and while I was sewing it. So a bit of starch there would have helped. But, you know, I ironed the entire 4 meters and then cutting out, but I had to take a break during the cutting out. And when I returned, I had to iron the rest of the fabric again because it was so wrinkled. So that was a mistake. That was my bad, that I chose a viscose that wasn't high enough quality for it. That also created some issues while I was sewing it because it kept slipping and it doesn't react well to seam ripping. And yeah, there are gathers, you know, in the sleeve cap and all of that. So yeah, that was my bad. Never go for the cheap viscose. We know that. I knew better. So, but I mean, it feels lovely on. It really does. It's really soft and lovely, but I kept having problems when I was cutting it out, when I was sewing it, and when I was ironing it too. So I think I will make this dress again, but I will make it of a different fabric for sure. Sorry, my phone rang. So where was I? Okay, thoughts on the Ember. This isn't exactly the dress that I would have chosen had it not been for Katrina asking if I wanted to sew it up. I don't know. I think there have been a lot of similar dresses out there. I do have some patterns. One Burda comes to mind that I have from the Burda Easy magazine. But I am really glad that I tried this out. And yeah, I have a black Davenport dress that in a black viscose that I have worn to absolutely, like, it's on the point of disintegrating completely now because I have loved it so much and it goes with everything. So yeah, I was kind of looking for a dress that I could replace that dress with. Obviously, I could just make another Davenport, and I probably will at some point. I've made quite a few of those already, but yeah, I also wanted to try something new, and the Ember dress could kind of be my new Davenport, which was what I was thinking when I chose what I thought was black, ended up being navy blue viscose from Selfmade earlier this summer. What I like particularly about this dress is that it is a popover style. So there are no fastenings, no zips, no buttons. And that can sometimes be very nice. However, with that kind of style of dress, I think it's really important that it has something so that it doesn't look like maternity wear. Because popover dresses like that, they kind of, or pull-on dresses, they tend to be very loose fitting. And for me in particular, who is pear-shaped, that can mean that you sort of look like you're wearing a sack. And that's not like the style that I go for. So what I do like about this dress then is that it has these really prominent waist ties. That's sort of the defining thing about this dress, apart from the sleeves. So I think the drawstring casing went in really cleanly. They have nice instructions for that, and I do think that the kind of side ties is a fun idea. The Davenport, as I was talking about, has that in the front. But seeing as I made mine in a solid navy blue with the humongous sleeves, I think I might, maybe just for kicks, try to replace the ties with something with a little bit of interest to it. So maybe something in a very contrasting color, or maybe like a woven like band or something that I can use instead of the actual waist ties. I think that could kind of bring the interest of the dress up, if that makes sense. I think also I might lengthen the bodice a little bit. I am about 5'7". The Ember is, I believe, drafted for 5'5" or 6". So I'm a little bit taller than it is drafted for. But proportionally, my torso is longer. So usually, like in Friday Pattern Company patterns, I always have to lengthen the bodice a little bit. So I probably should have done that for this too, to make the waist ties come straight down to my natural waist, because it's a little above now, which doesn't bother me at all. But I think that design wise, it might have been a good idea to kind of drop the bodice a little bit on me. The sleeves are very, very dramatic and very unusual in the style for me, but I did, as I said, want to make something that was completely different from anything else in my wardrobe. I made the View B sleeves. So the sleeve pattern is actually 3 separate pieces, and there are a lot of pieces to this dress. I omitted the pockets because I don't really like side seam pockets that much. Also, you know, pear-shaped. I don't want anything that adds on to my hips. So even though I love a good deep pocket, I didn't want it in this dress. But even though I omitted the pockets, there were 13 pieces to this dress. And yeah, so the sleeve comes in 3 separate pattern pieces, and then you have to sew them together, overlock, and then you stitch it down to create the channel for the elastic. I really do like this dress, but there are some things that I might change. I don't know, but I might. So the sleeves are a lot. Really, really dramatic, and I don't know if I can pull that off, to be fair. I'm a very like undramatic person, I guess. So it feels like wearing those sleeves, I'm afraid that I will look like kind of the jester at a medieval festival, you know, with the puffy sleeves and all of that. Yeah, I don't really know yet. I will try to keep them on and test them and see whether or not I like them. I'm afraid that they will kind of drop into my food when I'm eating or things like that. If I find them very annoying, I will just cut off the lower part of the sleeve and kind of just hem the middle part. And that way it will look like the 3/4 length option that is already in the pattern. I might do that, or I might actually lob a little bit off the skirt part, because it kind of hits me in a weird spot right now. I think I might lob off like this much just to make it come like straight under my knee, or do the things with the sleeves, because there's something not quite right with the proportions at the moment. I think if I am to have like really long dramatic sleeves, I need the skirt to be shorter. But if I cut off the sleeves a little bit, then the skirt can be longer. Does that make sense, or is that just in my head? I don't know, but I kind of think of it like that there's something a bit off with that. Style-wise, I think in the autumn, I would like to wear this with like boots and tights and like a big chunky shawl or a scarf or something. I think that could be quite nice. It would remind me of, is it Sweet Home Alabama? That movie with Reese Witherspoon. She has like an outfit in that is just chef's kiss. And even though I would never look like Reese Witherspoon in that, it's kind of bringing out the same kind of vibes. Or I can use it in a more like formal setting with, you know, heels and kind of a statement necklace or something like that to kind of bring out the dress a little bit more. The Ember dress has good instructions. You always get good instructions with Sew Liberated patterns. I have sewn up several of their patterns and I always find their instructions quite good. The only thing I have to say with this one is that the instructions are a bit cramped. I'll try to put in a little, you know, to show you what I mean, but there are a lot of illustrations and a lot of text on each page, but the illustrations are kind of numbered with figures, and then you have to kind of refer back to the text to find where you are. This was a fairly straightforward sew for me, so I didn't really need detailed instructions for this one. I had a good read through, and then I didn't really had to refer back much to the actual pattern other than checking seam allowances. So yeah, that's the only feedback I have on that. I think it was an enjoyable sew. I had a lot of fun sewing it up once I had managed to cut things out. And it is a very nice construction. I particularly like that there are princess seams. I very much enjoyed the instructions on how to do the kind of waist tie channel. I think that was very clear and a good way to do it. Very nice that the skirt also comes in, like you have a front skirt and a back skirt, same pattern piece, and then you have side fronts and side back. So it mirrors the princess seams on the bodice. All in all, I think it is a very elegant dress, and I really want to make it again. So I'll just show you a couple of close-ups now before we move on to the other things. So I put in a little Rosy Cheeks label right there. I thought that kind of went with the colors and all of that. And yeah, you can see there are quite a few gathers on the cap of the sleeve right here. You can see that I have top stitched the seams on the bodice. You can see the princess seams right there. It's hard to see with such a dark solid color, I know, but and you can get a look at the elasticated sleeves right there. Yeah, that's the channel on the front. Yeah, so I've been talking quite a lot now about the Ember dress, but I really wanted to do a more thorough review of it and show it to you in more detail, because it is a relatively new pattern. I think it was released this spring, and I haven't seen many dresses made up on this over on Instagram. There were only a few, and I think none of them had the sleeve option that I have chosen. I think all of them had the bishop sleeve. So yeah, I fancied really trying out that kind of sleeve, even though it's not maybe as wearable and pared down as the bishop sleeve version. But the only version I have seen made up with this sleeve is the actual from the pattern photo shoot. So yeah, that was it on the Ember dress. And now for some other news. So as I said, last weekend I went to a neighboring town where I was trying out some sewing machines. And it is a fabric store. It is an expensive store, I have to say. They have quality fabric, and I'm prepared to pay for that, but it is really quite expensive in there. So when I saw that outside of the store they had a 50% off kind of bin, with not only remnants but with actual fabric bolts, I had a look at that and thought, I'll have me some of that. So I found this fabric, and this will maybe look familiar to you if you follow my channel, because I know the lighting in here is horrible at the moment because it's very overcast and it's about to start raining. That does something weird to the light in my living room. Apologies for that. But I made the Seasons of East Autumn in London dress with this exact fabric, other than a different color, because that was sort of a latte coffee color fabric, and this is lilac. This, according to the color chart that I have, is very close to the signature color, so I should be wearing this color all the time. This is a lilac color, and it is bamboo, and it is so soft, so flowy, that I just had to have some when I saw they had them on 50% sale. I do think that Andrea Beyond the Pink Door has had this fabric, this exact fabric in her store too. I don't know if she has any left, but it is really, really lovely. And I bought 1.5 meters of this because I thought it would make a lovely blouse. And I am thinking about the Atelier Jupe Ember blouse, the one with the pin tucks, because I really like that pattern. So yeah, I have been thinking that this might be another Emma. But I just adore this fabric. And then I also bought another bamboo, and this is solid. I was umming and ahhing about this because I was, you know, standing outside of the store and pulling up my color card on my mobile. And I have this color card that I got when I had my colors done at Color Guru. So they gave me this little, like, well, a digital and a physical version of like a color card that I bring with me. And it did say in the sort of explanation that I'm a summer, and we should wear white, but not like bright white. That's reserved for the winters. But I'm always afraid that I will choose a white that is too warm. So I was kind of standing outside there, kind of pulling up my colors and holding it to the fabric and everything. And I thought maybe this is a little bit too much of a cream color for my complexion. But actually, it's really difficult to see here. But actually this came up closer than the bright white cotton that was standing next to this bolt on my color chart. So I thought I'd give it a go. And I have been thinking for quite a while that I want a really elegant, like more formal blouse. I don't think the kind of the tie, like pussy bow blouse thing would work for me. That's too much of like a frilly thing. But like a really elegant shirt, or maybe something with the granddad collar, just something really classic that I can pull on for work situations when, you know, there's something going on. So yeah, I would really like that. So I got 1.5 meters of that. So while I was waiting for some help with the sewing machine, I kind of had a browse around the shop, and I found out that this shop sells patterns from Beklaedt. And I saw this pattern. Now, Beklaedt is a Danish company. It actually means to be dressed, to be wearing clothes. So just, you know, suddenly noticed this pattern. I've never seen that before. I've been on their website several times, and I've never seen this before. It is very similar to several other patterns that I have, the Prettier pants from Paradise Patterns, and several other wide leg pants that I have. However, I thought that the shaping on these looked really interesting, and they're wide leg, but not like massively wide legged like the Prettier pants are. So I just thought, yes, I'll have this. I kind of regretted it afterwards, not because it's not a great pattern, it is, but these are the instructions you get. There's not a single illustration, not one illustration, or you know, it's nothing. This is it. I did see that they have a video on their YouTube channel though, so and I might do okay with these. I might not need them, but you know, sewing trousers with no illustrations, yeah, that might be above my skill level. But I'll have a look at the video that they have on their YouTube channel and see whether I can pick something up from there. I don't know whether it's a complete sew along. I don't think so, because it was only like 25 minutes long or something, but they might show some of the more trickier bits in that. So I will have a look. Okay, the final thing that I will talk to you about is what I have coming up. So next weekend, I'm going to the sewing festival, Beklaedt, and I plan on taking you with me because I thought you might be interested in that. If some of my viewers are going to Beklaedt on the Saturday and you recognize me, please do come up and say hello. I would be so chuffed if you started talking to me at Beklaedt. So please do, if you see me, come over and say hello, okay? I will be the nerd walking around with the selfie stick and filming everything. So that is coming up next weekend and I'm really, really excited about it. This weekend we have a few like family things that we need to do, and I am also thinking I'll go up to the farm and pick some apples and make some, you know, apple jam and maybe some crumble and all of that. So I will be doing some baking. The house is an absolute tip, so I do need to do some housework this weekend. It's not quite hazmat suit stage yet, but we're getting there. So I need to sort some of those things out. But in sewing things, I do hope to be able to cut out my ginger jeans, because now that my ember is finished, the ginger jeans are up next. And thank you so much for all your kind comments on my last video, sewing for my conference. And a lot of people said, make the PLR jacket. So I think after my ginger jeans, the PLR jacket is next. So yeah, those were the things that I wanted to talk to you about today. This became a slightly longer video than I had hoped for, but I hope you do forgive me for that. Well done you if you have managed to stick with me so far, and I would really like some feedback on what you think of the ember dress. Is this something that you would like to make up? If you do, I remind you that there is a sale going on. I am not at all affiliated with Sew Liberated, just putting it out there that they have a sale going on. So yeah, I'm really interested to hear what you think about it. What you think about my styling options for it? And yeah, what would you like to see at the sewing festival? Those are things that I really want some feedback on. So yeah, I am now going to head back to my computer, do some work, and yeah, I will be back soon with another video. So take care, I'll see you. Bye bye.